Welcome back to Environmental News, the good, the bad, and the ugly, where we break down the biggest U.S. stories shaping sustainability this week, from zero waste milestones to circular economy setbacks. I'm your host, Stacey Savage, aka the Texas Trash Talker, founder and CEO of Zero Waste Strategies, a consulting firm helping business clients reduce waste to save money, empower their employees, and to drive a green marketing edge. In this week's lineup of stories, we have the good, a breakthrough in food waste reduction powered by AI, the bad, the lingering gaps in recycling infrastructure still holding cities back, and the ugly, a decades-long toxic waste problem that's finally being addressed, but at a colossal cost. So let's get into it. First up, the good. California's Pomona College is making national headlines after cutting its food waste in half by using artificial intelligence. Over the past 9 months, the college partnered with startup MetaFoodX, deploying an AI-powered scanner that checks what's left on students' plates. The device uses 3D cameras and computer vision to identify uneaten foods, weigh it, and then track the trends in real time. By analyzing this data, dining teams have cut overproduction by 54% and food costs by 8%, achieving a return on investment of over 500% in the last year. Across the country, AI is being used to forecast meal demand, monitor spoilage, and redirect surplus food to charities before it becomes waste. According to a new report, these innovations are driving a food waste management market expected to surge from $81 billion this year to $132 billion by 2034. In other words, technology isn't just changing what we eat, it's changing what we throw away. But while tools like these are pushing us forward, some parts of our circular economy are still in serious need of repair. And now for the bad. The persistent recycling infrastructure gap that's leaving valuable materials and millions in potential reuse on the table. A new report from Closed Loop Partners released last week highlights how U.S. recycling operations remain deeply fragmented. Even with extended producer responsibility laws being adopted in 7 states, most facilities still lack advanced equipment and standardized guidelines to improve material recovery. To help bridge these gaps, Closed Loop's Center for the Circular Economy published a national guide for material recovery facilities, offering the best practices on design, performance metrics, and data tracking to strengthen recycling efficiency. And there's some bright news in Houston, Texas. The Recycling Partnership just awarded a $4.25 million grant to upgrade the city's materials recovery facility run by FCC Environmental Services. The retrofit will add optical sorters designed to process plastic films and flexible packaging, which make up over a third of the U.S. plastics packaging industry, but have historically been unrecyclable. This initiative could help Houston pioneer new curbside collection programs for these types of materials and pave the way for other municipalities to follow. So while progress is happening, uneven infrastructure and policy patchworks still prevent the full circular economy from spinning smoothly. And that brings us to the last story, the ugly truth about a cleanup decades in the making. The United States' largest environmental cleanup effort is finally moving, but after 40 years of delay and billions spent. At Washington State's Hanford nuclear site, the federal government has officially begun an operation known as hot commissioning, vitrifying radioactive and hazardous waste by turning them into glass for permanent storage. This moment marks the first time in history that the site's waste is being stabilized after decades of contamination risk along the Columbia River. State officials call it a Herculean effort, crediting the persistence of local workers and political advocacy after federal hesitation earlier this year. But the cost is staggering. The cleanup is projected to exceed $528 billion by the end of this century. And experts warn the vitrification plant still treats only a portion of the 56 million gallons of radioactive waste at the site. While it's a victory for environmental safety, it's also a sobering reminder of the long-term consequences of industrial neglect and how much harder cleanup is than prevention. From cutting food waste in college cafeterias to cleaning up nuclear contamination, this week's stories show the spectrum of our environmental reality, a mix of innovation, inertia, and reckoning. That's it for this week's roundup of environmental news, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you're watching the full version on YouTube, drop a comment. Which of these stories do you think represents the biggest challenge? And if you're catching this on short form, hit follow for deeper dives into zero waste solutions, emerging legislation, and circular economy wins across the country. Next week, we'll be covering the National Zero Waste Conference, highlighting some of the nation's most inspiring community-led and business programs. Until then, stay sustainable, and remember, the best waste is the waste we never create.